All right, let's continue on with the second worksheet, 23B2. By the way, for the full worksheets, please take a look at them on NoteFlight. All right, the first one I already started. This is 4/6 going to 4, and what you need to do is fill out the type of 6/4 chord that it represents. You can use pass for passing, pedal, ped for pedal, etc. So, going from 4/6 to 4, of course, it moves from a first inversion to a root position through a passing note. So the A here is going to be the passing note, so this is going to be a passing 6/4. A is the fifth of the chord, which means the full chord is D, F sharp, and A. Remember that generally we would double the bass here, but however we can also double something else. Let's take a look at what we would do. Now for this one, right, you could try to do another voice exchange, or let's do something different, right? So let's say I have this chord in the middle, right? So I needed D, F sharp, and A. And first let's keep the D as a common tone, and also in the tenor, right? And so the only thing that's left is the F sharp, and the closest possible F sharp here would be in the alto, right? And then we're just going to resolve this back to the G. We're going to keep the D. Now, I could keep the D here as well, but remember, I still need a third of some kind, right? So you can put that in either of these places, either the soprano or the tenor. What the model answer does is the soprano, just to give a little bit more of an interesting line. So let's take a listen. Yeah. Just in this context, it actually sounds like 151, but that's because it doesn't have a cadence in D major. Moving on to E major, this is 1/6 going to 5/6/4 going to 1. Again, from just going from 1/6 to 1 surrounding this 6/4, we know that this is going to be a passing 6/4. The bass here goes to 1, so then the passing note here is F sharp. This is a mi, re, do in the bass, so what you could do is do a do, re, mi voice exchange in the soprano, right? So for this one, classic doubling the bass here, I just need a B and also a D sharp. I can keep the B as a common tone and move the E down to the D sharp, and then resolve it back. Do, ti, do, right? And I'm going to keep the common tone, so, so, so. This is what it sounds like. Yeah, classic. Finally, this is in D minor, 1/4/6/4/1. Notice that we're surrounding the 6/4 with two root position chords, which means that this is most likely a pedal 6/4. So I'm going to enter ped here to remind me. Now, for pedal 6/4, basically you double the bass, right? And then you're moving the other voices by step. For this one, this is the fifth of the chord, so I need G and B flat. Right? Something like that. Let's give it a listen. Great. Finally, let's take a look at the D and E. I'll leave F, G, and H for you to look at on your own, and you can check with your posted answers. The 6/4 type here, from 2/6/5 to 2/4/3, right? 2/6/5, of course, means that this is the third of the chord. 2/4/3 is the same chord, the same G minor 7 chord, right? But with the fifth of the bass. So the passing tone here is C. C is the fifth of the chord, which means that the root is F, F, A, C, right? So in this case, this is again a passing 6/4. Remember, in general functional harmony, we use two chords as a predominant chord going to 5, right? So it's not very stylistic for 2 to go back to 1. In this case, remember, this is not functional. It's just a passing 6/4 chord. It's an embellishment. It's a decoration, almost like a suspension or a passing tone, neighbor tone. But here, we're treating a whole chord as such, okay? So let's see. We have B flat, C, D, and of course, we have D here, so we can do a very nice voice exchange to start with. Now, for the 1/6/4 chord, I need F and A. I already have an F, and move the G up to an A. And then I'm just going to move it back, right? So because of the voice exchange, D is now in the bass, the B flat is now in the tenor. So all I need is keeping the same chords in the same voices in the top. Let's take a listen. It's already sounding very, very interesting, isn't it? Just very, very minor changes in voice leading. And so you can get a lot of mileage, a lot of use from just extending the harmony for one chord. Finally, for E, for elephant, hint, omit the fifth in 5/7. All right, so let's realize the bass line first. This is F for 4. Now we're going to do a 5/7, right? And then a 1/6/4 to 5. Notice that the 6/4 here is surrounded by 2 root position 5 chords, which means that this is going to be some kind of a pedal 6/4. So I'm going to write that in. And then for this one, I need a 5 held over with 4 going to natural 3, most likely the leading tone, right? So let's start with the, and let's end with here the 1. Right, so far this is the bass line. Excellent. So let's keep going. I need a 4 chord, which is going to be a minor 4 chord, F, A flat, C. I already have a C, so I'm going to keep the common tone. I'm going to move the G by step to A flat, and then I'm going to move the E flat up to the F. Right, so a lot of common tones and then also stepwise motion. This is a very smooth transition from 1 to 4. Moving on to the 5/7. Remember from 4 to 5, right? Because we have 2 root position chords that are 1 step away from each other. Generally, what would you like to do is to try to move the upper voices in contrary motion down to the bass when it's necessary. Now, G7 chord, right? So G dominant 7th chord needs G, B natural, D, and F. From C, the closest step down would be the B natural. From A, the closest step down is G. And then from the F, well, the F is actually in the chord as the chordal 7th, so I'm just going to keep it. In fact, we can also consider tying this F over as well. Now, from here, I need a pedal 6/4 with a G as the bass, which means that most likely I'm going to double the G, right? And then I still need C and E flat. Now, this is a chordal 7, and it can resolve, right, to the E flat, so I will have it resolve and move the leading tone up to the C. That's going to sound great. And then all I'm doing now is I need a 5th above the bass here for the D, which I'm going to hold over, which is D. The closest thing here is the D, right? So you have a really lovely descending line in the soprano. It's going to sound really, really great. And then I can keep the G as the doubled G, and then for the 4/3 suspension, right? What I can do is just keep the C in the tenor and resolve it like this. So there you have your 4 natural, 4/3 suspension here, right? And then for the G, that's just being held, so I'm just going to extend it all the way to the end of the bar. Finally, let's resolve it. I have going to be a tonic in the soprano. I can keep the common tone in the alto, but then I would probably be missing a 3rd. Right? So let me actually resolve this first. So I'm going to resolve the leading tone here in the tenor so you can see a little better. I'm tripling the root, right? And then I'm going to move the alto down to the E flat, right? Going back to the hint a little bit, hint, omit the 5th in 5/7, right? So here is the 5/7 chord. Since we're moving from 4 to 5/7, if we had added the 5th, there's a danger of having parallel 5ths here between the tenor and the bass, and then also it would be really difficult to get that B natural in there, because if we did that, then the B natural would cause a melodic dissonance with either the F or the A flat. So when you run into trouble with trying to figure out what to do, always start with the voice leading, right? The most important parts of the chord, for example, 5/7, root, 3rd, and 7th. See if you can get there from the previous chord through oblique motion or stepwise motion. That's the most important thing. And hopefully that can help solve a lot of the voice leading issues as well. Let's take a listen to this. if you have acquired the sounds, this is going to be so lovely and full in this style. Okay, so go ahead and continue on and check your answers with the model answers that I posted. And again, if you have any questions, please let me know.